Hello and welcome to yet another Legacy Cube. And I have started calling these Legacy Cubes apparently. There's Griselbrand, which is obviously a pretty fun card. And pretty strong as well. But there's also Control Magic, which is just so good. Like, reanimation just isn't that great anymore, given that there's not really a way to put them into your graveyard as easily. Usually compared with green, because those have the best cards, and I don't even think the same reanimation spells exist. So I think Griselbrand definitely lost a bunch of value. And the other cards I'm looking at is like Stoke the Flames, Mirror Angel, Hero's Downfall, Control Magic. I think those are the most interesting ones. Like Wolf Roots if you want to go into green. But I think Control Magic is a stronger card, so I'll pick that one. If I want to stay with the blue, like this card is a card you want for for animation, by the way. If you want to stay in blue, the pick is obviously Luthor Core or Mirror Battle Sphere. If you want to dab into another color, I think it's either Oblivion Ring or Ultimate Prize. Thundermaw Hellkite, given that Control Magic does not really match up well with Thundermaw Hellkite, it's not the way to go. We can pick up Luthor Core. It's another pretty good discard effect, like if we can go reanimation at one point and 3 colors. I think Luthor Core is also the stronger card and it will reward me in pack 2. I think out of these 3 I obviously would like Ultimate Prize or Oblivion Ring, but I think I need Luthor, given that it's blue. There's Fauna Shaman, again probably one of the better cards for reanimation. But then there's Rifting Cloudskate, which again, it's in my blue colors. But I think I also would go for the Fauna Shaman. Fauna Shaman is definitely a really strong card. And while I am a fan of blue-green, I don't want to jump to a third color, into a second color yet. I think pack 3 is a bit too early, and there's just not a card that's powerful enough here. This is an interesting one. Like, Grim Monolith is obviously fine. The Seaver Exarch is okay. I think Scented Necromancer is actually better. Like, it's 3 mana 2/2 that gives another 2/2. Though I'm not so sure. I think I'm not a big fan of Grim Monolith, to be honest. Like, my decks, it's obviously a good card. I'm not saying that, but the decks that I play usually don't match well with it. I think it's either the Seaver Exarch and see if I can get the combo, or Scented Necromancer, Zatrit Necromancer. I'll go with the Necromancer. I think the other one is more likely to wheel. We get a Toxic Deluge, a Soul of Innistrad, which to me is not that great. And there's also Misty Rainforest, just in case I want to go 3 colors. It seems unlikely that Fauna Shaman will wheel though. So I think Toxic Deluge is a bit better. It does force me into the black and be less creature based and more control based, so I need like a really good finisher or at some point, like 3 of them. Maloku obviously. Chasm Skulker would be fine. This card is another good 3-drop though. Basically, if it survives your own turn, it automatically creates a 1/1 Death Toucher, and it keeps on doing so. Maybe it's just a Geomancer over Chasm Skulker. There's also Underworld Connections. I think I like the Geomancer more over Underworld Connections, and I'm not sure about the Chasm Skulker, but I think Geomancer just has a bit more value. Not that much, but a bit. As much as I like Bloodghast here, I think Waterfront Bouncer might be a bit better. If I do go into reanimation, Waterfront Bouncer is a second effect that allows me to discard it from my hand. Just need the reanimation cards now. So 2 more picks and then we can see if Griselbrand's wheeled. Although it's very unlikely. There's another one in Merfolk Luther. Stinkwood Imp, is also pretty good, but I think Looter is just better. Not so sure if it's better than these, but it's an okay card. So 3 of our 2-drops now allow us to discard big creatures. So didn't wheel, but we do get a Hero's Downfall, which is obviously a good card. Just curious, like, we haven't seen any reanimation card, and in the previous drafts I haven't actually seen a lot of reanimation cards either. There's the Whip that I've seen. There's Living Dead, but that's about it, right? Like, I haven't seen Reanimate, I haven't seen Animate That. Oh, there's a Threat Return, that's one. Yeah. Sounds about correct. The fact that I had to pass up Griselbrand, well, I passed up Griselbrand, I didn't have to, but like first picking Griselbrand over Control Magic just seems wrong. And even like if I'm not able to play Reanimation, Merfolk Looter or Looter Core are still fine main deckable cards. I think Wildform Bouncer is also pretty good and good enough to main deck. We didn't see that much blue. We did pass up a Deceiver Exarch over and pick the Necromancer over it. I think the Necromancer is still a bit better, although I currently do not have any human. This isn't the this is a human. Okay, so we found another human. So Ultimate Prize Wheels, Mirror Battlesphere Wheels, and Herald Wheels. Given that I have Hero's Downfall, I don't necessarily want the Ultimate Prize. I think Mirror Battlesphere is a bit better. It's a really good creature. If you can find Reanimation, it's a good target. It's main deckable. I think it just like sure, Ultimate Prize is definitely a good card, and I would usually pick that one. But I really do like Mirror Battlesphere here. I think Hippie is a good card and good enough to have here. Already heavy on the trees, and it's not even a blue one. There's a lot of 3 blue creatures like Serendipity, Chasm Skulker, Wake Thrasher, Infinite combo with Wake Thrasher and Basalt Monolith. GG. I actually had that once. If you wanna know which cube, I have no clue. You gotta watch them all. Ha! How to get views? Just say something about your cube and force people to watch them all. So Live Vein Zombie, another 3-drop. Very heavy on the 3-drops apparently. Toxic Deluge can be a later drop off, and same with Hero's Downfall, but this is actually also a 3-drop. So yeah, just a free one. So 9 creatures. Control Magic is basically a creature, and the other 3 are creature removal. What's the other one? Oh, Control Magic. Sure. 2 more cards and we finally get to see a new pack. I guess Avalanche Riders. And Prophetic Flame Speaker. Not that great of a card. I've seen people play with it and I'm not convinced about it. Like, it's obviously a fine card because that's double strike. Trample is pretty useless unless you can pump it. So yeah, there's a Whip versus Preordain and Augur, or this one. I guess the Whip is just better. It gives my creatures lifelink, can bring them back then. If the Whip wasn't there, I'd probably pick Preordain over Augur here, but the Whip seems like a good card to have. Just to have my creatures have lifelink, it's strong enough. And then once they already have hit the graveyard with any kind of effect, just having the reusability of it. Ashiok, not really a fan of it. Treachery is definitely the pick here. There is a Living Dead, by the way, but I think Treachery is just a better card. We don't necessarily need a card like Living Dead. It's not that our end game is that strong already. Living Dead might wheel, Treachery will never wheel. Not much else in the pack. Like Miscalculation, Living Dead, and Diagram of Cold are obviously the other cards, but I don't think any of them will. So here we have a Jace. Um, Obviously better than Doomblade and Wake Thrasher, given that I have already so many of these. Jace. This one isn't that great of a Jace, but it's still a good one. Yeah, it's a bit underwhelming compared to the other Jace. The Mind Sculptor, that card is bonkers. I'm pretty sure everyone's aware of that already. It's probably the only Planeswalker that ever got banned in Standard, with like 2 or 3 months to go in the format. And the price of that card was ridiculous, like 100 euros a piece, and then it got banned, and the price obviously tanked. I guess it's Phantasmal Image. It's an okay card, not a monster of a card, but an okay card. Excuse me. It's already a bit better with my throat, my cough. I feel it becoming better. Legacy's Lure again, huh? But there's also Sheoldred and Exhume. As much as I like Legacy's Lure, I think Sheoldred is a bit better. It's a good late game card. We're lacking late game at this point. Exhume is another card I want to see wheel, but it's very unlikely. But I think, given that I'm somewhat graveyard based, I think Sheoldred is obviously good. It's a really good late game card because it just owns people, and like we now have 2 late game cards basically. And Exhume is way worse than any other reanimation, just because your opponent gets the same effect. There's Forbidden Alchemy versus Impulse. Discuss one more, and I'm heavy on the trees. Why is this rare? So as weird as it is, given my deck and my color, and especially seeing that this puts it in the graveyard, this doesn't. I still think Impulse is better, just because it's a 2-drop instead of a 3-drop. I'm not so sure about this, but I mean, look at my trees. I'm heavily loaded on trees, and most of them are creatures, like 6 already. Well, 5. Impulse it is. Stroke of Genius, huh? Nah, Kokusho is way better. So that's my third finisher then. With the whip, it does not have second effect, because it says like, yeah, it doesn't matter how it gets removed from the battlefield, it always gets exiled. So even if I had like a sacrifice engine or a bounce, like if you bounce it, it still dies. Well, Rift and Cloudskate was also 2-drops, so my 2 and 3-drops were actually the same. This is actually an okay card. It's removal, it's life gain. We're gonna control some swamps, so Preordain and Augur Wheels. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Preordain is just better at this point. So the Living Dead didn't wheel. There's a Diagraph goal, which I obviously don't care about. Wake Thrasher wheels. We'll pick that one up. Molten Tail Massacre. Probably won't play it. I guess. Really not a fan of that card, by the way. Carnifage, given that I can actually play it, maybe. If I ever care about it. So Impulse, not a creature, not a creature, not a creature. Okay. So from 4 to 6 we have no creatures. Interesting. So we need like a 4 or 5-drop creature. And I have no clue what that would be. Here we have Factor Fiction versus Black Sun Zenith. I think Factor Fiction is just a better card. We already have Mass Removal. Factor Fiction is just really good. So let's play that one. Black Sun's Unit might even wheel. Not really an interesting pack. So one card too many at this point. Assess of Visions, Animate that, wow. So now we have options. Animate that is obviously the reanimation card that I wanted. And I have 3 discard effects. But Answers of Vision is just so good. What does this even do? There's no way Ancestor Visions wheels. There's a way that Animate that wheels, but very unlikely. Like someone picked up the Exhume and the Living Dead, so someone is a reanimation. So this is the only one I'm ever gonna see, but I only have like 3 targets. I think my deck is strong enough to run the Animate that over the Visions. Probably far away. This is obviously good, this is obviously good, and this is okay. But it is just a bit better, I think. The problem, of course, is that it doesn't kill Planeswalkers, as Hexmage does. And Hexmage does have extra value with Whip. I think Hexmage and Faraways has some likelihood to wheel. Here it has to be Imperial Rights. I don't have the fix for it, but like it's better in this card. I think it's better in this card. So let's pick up the Imperial Rights. Interesting one, right? Reanimate. But there's also a Frostbite, and I think I want a Frosty. Maybe played Frosty over the Battlesphere. Or maybe just play 4 late game creatures. So Imperial Rights probably not in. Tendrils probably not main deck. Waterfront Bouncer maybe not main deck, although I think I do need it. Toxic Deluge probably not main deck. It's pretty bad against some decks. So 2 more cards. This is a 2-drop. Maybe one of these. Although my my curve is pretty low. And I have like 3 loot effects. No, 2 loot effects and impulse. Plus a preordain. Maybe not the hippie. The hippie might be. Oh, I think hippie is better than Livebane Zombie. Dungeon Geist versus Necrotile. I think Dungeon Geist is a bit better than Necrotile. Necrotile has more value when you're animated, but Dungeon Geist is just so good. 3/3 flyer for 4 is good in zone, and then the fact that it locks down a creature. Maybe the Livebane Zombie to the sideboard, just because it's weaker than Wake Thrasher. Bring it in against some decks. There's Dread Return. And there's also Night Hauler and Metamorph. Night Hauler is an interesting one. Although I do think Dread Return is a bit better. It's probably even better. Oh wow. Seriously, what a pack. Dismember Opposition, Kega and Obliterator. Think if you see my drafts you know that I am a big fan of Opposition. Yeah, I can't pass up an Opposition, I'm sorry. Like, the card is pretty sick. Not really a big fan of Pessimite or Master of the Feast here. I'm gonna pick the Revoker and put it in the sideboard. So Dread Return and Animate that. Maybe I'll keep like the Dread Return and not play the Animate that. I'm not sure yet. Like yes, this obviously costs more. This is your graveyard and this is a graveyard. The return on the flashback is actually relevant for me. curve looks okay, maybe a bit too much on the fourth. So in that case, Threat Return is worse. Cloudfin Raptor versus Corrupt, both are shitty cards. I guess Kira. We don't really have creatures we want to protect. Brain Maggots. Grey Merchant. That's actually an okay card. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have plenty of black, to be honest. Like if I bring in the hippie, the Livebane Zombie, I even have more. Let's put the tendrils back in. This back in. This back in. I'm just looking at cards and think like maybe I want to play that, maybe I don't. I don't think I want the Texas Luge main deck, but we'll never know unless we try it. Oh yeah, you can no longer do that. Okay, so let's put the non-creatures here. I really like how they fixed this. Oh wait, it sucks ass. So my fours are almost all non-creatures. Burrow Rights, Treachery, this is a 2-drop. And these are creatures, okay. So definitely need some cutting in this. I think like Brain Maggot should be gone. Can I not put them all? Some shitty pile somewhere. Okay, you guys are the shitty pile. Thank you. So Brain Maggot should be gone, to be honest. This is not. Don't think Kira is that viable for me. Neither is a Grey Merchant. Livebane Zombie probably in the side. I think Tendrils and Dread Return are worse. Like opposition is just better than Tendrils. And then all of these are pretty bunker cards. Still need to cut 5 cards, wow. Maybe like not the Mirror Battlesphere. Just keep out G3. We only play 1 reanimation effect, not the Toxic Deluge main deck. Bring it in against aggro. We're basically cutting cards that are too situational. And try to keep it. I think I need to cut here now. Oh yeah, the Burrow Rights obviously. So 1 more. It has to be a non-creature, I think. I'm only running 13 creatures so far. 3 do pack a punch. Foresight and Kokusho and Shouldred are pretty sick ones. Which non-creature card? Like Control Magic, Treachery, pretty good. Hero's Downfall, Slaughter Pact, pretty good. Animate that. I'm not sold on the animate that, but given that we have 3 loot effects, I think we want to run at least 1 reanimation spell. And like turn 2 Merfolk Looter into turn 3 Shouldred into more looting. It's just too good. Then there's obviously the whip. Like Factor Fiction is in the worst card. But I think Factor Fiction might be better than the Chase. I think Preordain is then like Preordain and Impulse are cards to cut, right? But I think Impulse is better than the Preordain. Preordain is 1-drop compared to the Impulse, which is 2-drop. And we have 4 2-drops. Like Phantasmal Image doesn't really count as a 2-drop to me. So I don't think it's that relevant. That it's 2 over 1. I just think the rest of the cards are so good. Like Opposition is in Bunker's cards, even with only 13 creatures. Control Magic can't go, Treachery can't go, Hero's Downfall can't go. I don't think Slaughter Pact is a cut. Like, so the cards to cut are like Slaughter Pact, Preordain, Animate Death, Impulse, Jace, Factor Fiction, something like that. Like I want to keep Waterfront Bouncer in just because for the discard effect. Maybe that's greedy. Maybe I want like the Waterfront Bouncer out. And that bring that in against aggro as well. But then we only run 12 creatures. Yes, 2 actually make a token, but that's about it. When we only run 12 creatures, and that just becomes worse. In that case, we would probably want a Battle Sphere in. But then what do we cut, right? I think we're too heavy on the non-creature part. I think we still want to cut one of these and bring in like the Hex Mage then. Or maybe Livebane Zombie or Kira or something, doesn't really matter which one. Probably the Hex Mage. Although we're not that heavy on the black. Given that we're not that heavy on the black, do we want to cut like... That's Slaughter Pact. I think... Is Preordain better than Impulse? Impulse digs you deeper, but if you see multiple good cards... And I think Impulse is better than Preordain. Okay. Then bring in the Battle Sphere. But now we have a discard or less. No, so the Hex Mage. Like all my other 2-drops are blue, and then Hex Mage is double black. Brain Maggot might just be better. Nah. Are these 3 the correct choice over Battle Sphere? Maybe Mirror Battle Sphere is better than Kokusho, but like the fact that this has flyers makes it really good. Mirror Battle Sphere is pretty good with opposition. I think I want something like this. Wow, this is a tough one. Okay, I'm gonna stick with this. We'll see how it plays. There's definitely some mistakes in here. Like, it's a bit too complex to figure out all right now. But I'll see you guys for round 1.